What if I didn't run? What if I'm not a coward? What if I want them to kill me? What if I want them to try?
The people have spoken, for real this time. The polls have been unrigged, and I'm actually doing a video on Decaying Winter now. I don't know what Walter Marine 3248 is on about with a snow globe calling thing, but I think I'm answering it. Also, thank Samuel Dismukes 1265 for suggesting Decaying Winter. If he never left that comment, I would have never put this game on that poll, and y'all wouldn't have been able to vote for it. Well, I say y'all, but like 30 people voted, and something tells me that there's gonna be more than 30 people watching this. But what is Decaying Winter, you might ask? Well, it's a survival game. There's also classes and perks and stuff that help you survive for 10 nights. I was about to say 5. You also gotta worry about things like hunger, thirst, some random virus you need to take pills for, and also suicidal thoughts. But let's go deeper. What did I like about the game? What makes this game good? Well, first of all, the game is difficult. It's what everyone talks about when they bring up this game. I talked about it in the combat initiation video, and it still applies here. Most popular games on Roblox are for brain-rotted iPad kids, because that's kind of the biggest demographic on Roblox. But Decaying Winter actually challenges you. You gotta sneak around enemies while scavenging, while managing the supplies you gather amongst the group. You also gotta time your parries just right to avoid melee damage. You gotta manage your ranged items and abilities to take out ranged enemies. And speaking of abilities, the different perks, traits, and equipment really add a nice extra layer to the game. Each one has a different use case, and there's not one that feels overpowered. Every single one of them seems like something you'd want to try out, from the lifesteal katana to the sentry gun. Every perk just seems interesting, and I haven't even dabbled in the traits and equipment yet. But to be honest, my brain can't really process having a moveset consisting of above 3 abilities and outside of just walking, so I just use the perk ability, but I think that's just a me thing. The one thing about Decaying Winter that I really like is that it just has a lot of content. There's so many enemies, items, and even bosses that I haven't even encountered in my 2 hours of playing. And those 2 hours aren't even counting the time that I played before I got Robro. Honestly, 2 hours isn't a lot of time, but I think it's good for a Roblox game. Unfortunately, no game is perfect, and this applies to Decaying Winter, and one cannot fix their flaws without realizing they have them, and I like to point out the flaws in this game. Also, just because this section is longer than the good section doesn't make this game bad, it just means the bad stuff takes longer to explain. First of all, I feel like the descriptions of some items could be better. I didn't see it at first, partially because I'm blind, but the description for the S44UL1 is Endurance UL1 Compound Injector. I feel like the description could have been something better, like, on use, some actions no longer cost stamina, and many actions are performed faster, because that's what it does according to the wiki. I don't know if they have a character limit or something on these descriptions, but none of them seem longer than 5 or 6 words. It also means that some descriptions just aren't very helpful. To be fair, you have stops bleeding on the bandages, provides basic healing on the medkit, and stops arterial bleeding on the S-March tourniquet. I just wish more items descriptions actually told you what the item did, like those items. But on the topic of descriptions, the little icons in the bottom left seem to lack any. Every time I see a new status effect, I gotta ask someone on the server what the hell it means and how to fix it, and then I gotta explain what the icon looks like. But the thing is, you could literally just have the name of the effect under the little reds being split in half. The game literally does this with other status effects, like morale and sprinting, but I think it's because those are the only status effects without a meter. But I don't see why you could just move the icon upwards a bit and add the name in between the icon and the meter. But on a different note, I feel like a surprising amount of my deaths have been from friendly fire. I feel like no other game with friendly fire has had me die from this many crossfire accidents, on purpose or on accident. I think it's a combination of high damage AoE abilities, a relatively cramped map compared to something like Helldivers 2, and the fact that you just take a lot of damage from everything. In most situations, especially when fighting a single enemy, the high damage is fair because it can easily be avoided, if you're good enough at parrying. However, you can't exactly parry your teammate's grenade, and they aren't exactly that easy to dodge. I understand having you take damage from your own grenades, but it's annoying when that one guy spamming explosives gets you killed faster than you would have gotten yourself killed. But if a single one of you comments that friendly fire should stay in the game because it's funny, I'm going to wrapped in barbed wire while your family washes. Also, one control that's apparently really important just isn't on the keybinds list. It says that nothing is bound to 0, but when you press it... Oh. 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 But anyways, it's time for my ultimate opinion. Oh my... But anyways, it's time for my ultimate opinion. Infamous on the opinion, by the way. I have my own thoughts about the game, but I encourage you to play the thing yourself so you can develop your own opinion. No game is for everyone, and it is important people realize this before judging what other people make or what other people play. Some people like more casual games, and some people like more challenging games. And if you like a challenging game, this is something I think you should try. Or 10x plus 40 equals 5x plus 80. Solve for x out of 10. First person to get that answer correct gets their comment pinned. Also, please like and subscribe. I only have like 90 subscribers, and it would really help out my channel. Here comes the mandatory part of the video, where I talk about what I'd change if I had control of the game. I think it's just helpful, and Roblox devs are more likely to listen compared to something you see on Steam, and it also extends the length of the video quite well. The first thing I'd like to change is the stuff I mentioned earlier in the video, that being better descriptions for items and status effects, but I'd like to add one more thing. I'd like it if the description of an item displayed next to its name when you hover over it with your cursor. I personally think this would make gathering more convenient for those who haven't memorized every single item in its use. It would also help compare the melee weapon tiers without having to drop and pick up both weapons multiple times. I also think it'd be good if you could open up the ancient menu and see short descriptions of the stats effects you have. Not everyone's gonna know what the infection does, or why you should worry about it, or even how to deal with it. I'm still not sure what morale does, apart from make your screen darker. I'd also like it if there was a way to change keybinds. I'm not a huge fan of some of them, like C for equipment and T for the agent menu, so having a way to change them would be pretty neat. But moving on, I'd like to address the friendly fire problem I mentioned earlier. I think to fix this is pretty simple. Either just have grenades someone else throws do less damage, or just have them not damage you at all. that's all I have to say about Decaying Winter. I usually give ideas for extra content and whatnot, but I think right now, the game it has plenty. It has plenty of enemies, perks, equipment, and even traits. To some extent, the game might even have too much content, to the point that it's overwhelming, but I think that's stretching it a tiny bit. But anyways, you made it this far into the video, you know what I'm about to say. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell so you never miss an upload, hand over all your physical possessions, give me your credit card number, the expiration date, and the 3 little numbers on the back. But anyways, that's all I have to say for today. See you soon, raccoons.